What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel for another club review. This is the little mini series at the end of the Pentagon challenge, just to go back and take a look at some of the clubs that I've managed throughout the course of this save, how they got on whilst I was there, but also how they got on after I've left. We've already done the first club where the journey all started in Central Espanol. Now we head over to Brazil to what I would say is probably my first big job. We head over to Brazil for Guarani FC. Let's get into it. So guys, kicking things off with Guarani FC, as you can see here from my job history, we were there for 2 seasons pretty much. We had the Brazilian Serie B and then 1 season in the Serie A, which, you know, it is one of those things. The swift promotions led to a bigger club in that division wanting me, which is a story for a later date. But as you can see, we took over as Guarani FC in the year of 2023. Having left Central Espanol, we resigned from our post in Uruguay to head over to the 2nd tier in Brazil. Now, the reason I did this was, if I go into competition reputation, as you can see here, where is the division that I am looking for? So that is the division that I was in. I was in that division, which is obviously Uruguay's top flight. And at the time, the Brazilian division wasn't actually a million miles behind. So I thought it was worth the switch, with the opportunity to go into one of the most reputable leagues within South America, to kind of really have an opportunity at trying to get my hands on that Copa Libertadores trophy, which obviously is one of the 5 that we were looking for. So we went over to Guarani and finished in the 2023 season. Let me open this up. 2023. Oh my god, I have to go back so far. So just a little bit of background. The season before we got there, they finished 15th. They sacked their manager. There were a couple of clubs at the time that I was trying to get opportunities with, but ultimately ended up at Guarani FC. So the season before we were there, they finished 15th, 45 points, just a couple points outside that drop zone and miles away from those promotion spots. The season that we were there, though, we managed to take over with our 4-2-3-1 style and take it to the next level. As you can see, we have Fluminense in the division as well. Bragantino are a relatively big side as well. Cruzeiro, again, another very big team within the country of Brazil, and we managed to run out on top. 81 points from our 38 games in that season, 25 victories, 6 draws and 7 losses. Relatively mixed bag in terms of things. 87 goals for, 55 against. 32 goal difference over a 38 game season for a team that wins the league isn't actually fantastic, but it was the best in the division. So we got promoted as champions of the Brasileiro Serie B, which then led to a very interesting season in the Serie A. As you can see, in the same season, oh no, that is not the same season. We go back. In that season, you can see some of the teams that were in the division. Obviously, these are sort of household names now in Brazil: Vasco da Gama, Palmeiras, Sao Paulo, Flamengo, Santos, Corinthians, Botafogo, Grêmio. These are sort of big clubs within Brazil that I think a lot of people who are interested in football kind of know about. One for me, Chapecoense going down, Ponte Preta. I always seem to have an issue playing against those guys in whatever competition it is, but that was the state of the division before we go into it. So as I mentioned, guys, some very large teams in there. We took Guarani into the division, and as you can see, finishing in 7th, which actually meant, because of their coefficient rating, we actually qualified for the Copa Libertadores, which is just ridiculous, guys. A club the size of Guarani should not be anywhere near these sorts of positions, but we did. We finished 7th, just about, beating Sao Paulo into it by 4 points, and ultimately doing such a good job that it prompted Santos to pull the trigger. They fired their manager. We applied for the job at Santos. Obviously, Pele, Neymar have come through Santos, so a much bigger club in terms of reputation. If we take a look at Guarani, just out of curiosity, this is obviously where they are positioned now. 3.5-star reputation, which is listed as what? Fairly good, yeah. As you can see, much smaller stadium, teeny tiny. And it really does bring back good nostalgia for me, actually, seeing them get on. You know, just going back and seeing how they got on there back in the Serie B. And I think, to be honest, when we took them all the way up to 7th, yeah, that was the highest they've ever finished since then. So they've had one since then. The following season, they actually unfortunately got relegated. They finished in 20th, which is disappointing. And then they went down again. Relatively okay season in 9th, then down to 16th, and they got promoted again back into the top flight of Brazil, but instantly got relegated, and they've been relegated again down into the 3rd division. They did bounce straight back to sort of mid-level mediocrity in the 2nd tier of Brazilian football, which for a team, right, that have actually won the top flight title once. When was this? Just out of curiosity. 1978. It's a long old time ago. We couldn't bring them a trophy in Brazil in terms of that, but obviously we did bring them a Serie B trophy in 2023. All in all, I actually really enjoyed my time at Guarani. Is there a way that I can see players? That's probably current players, isn't it? Best 11 maybe? Any of my boys in here? I don't know. Junior Todino, he's a regular of mine back in the day, looking like a very, very poor chief scout right now. Junior Todino was there. Clayton Henrique, he was one of the ones that we had on New Gen playing it right back. Sorry, he's now at Corinthians, is that? Yeah, on loan from Sporting Lisbon. There's some big names in here for the save. Nicholas Temperini was another big goalkeeper that we had. He was very good for us. I'm trying to think. The one that's not here is the guy who was listed as Bruno Perry as well. He scored all sorts of headers for us. Love that. Love that. Oh, Filipino as well. What a player he was back in the day. Back in the day. Over a 7 average rating. What a man. A player who's not actually here, who, if you'd watched the save, you would remember, is this guy, Copa. Now, he popped up a decent amount of time in the save. As you can see, he was a new gen formed at Guarani. It generated at Guarani. Had a good season for us when we got promoted into the Serie B. Started the season in the Serie A okay, and then got bought by Arsenal for 4.1 million. This taught me the lesson about having minimum fee release clauses in contracts. Don't do it. Arsenal immediately loaned him back out to one of our rivals in Serie A, Corinthians. Devastating for us. He then played the next season on loan at Valencia, back to Arsenal, and then we got him back whilst we were at Santos. So I'll go over that at another point. But this guy, absolute legend, was touted previously as the next Neymar. He's currently at Schalke. We've played him a couple of times in this journey so far. A couple of times for Arsenal, a couple of times for Schalke. Obviously, we are Hertha Berlin at the moment. 30 years of age from this new gen now. It's impressive to see how far he's come. Unfortunately, didn't turn into that new Neymar. But as I said, guys, this is some real nostalgia for me. Just seeing their trajectory is very interesting. Obviously, you can see for the 2 clubs that we've gone over so far, I have been the best thing that has happened to those clubs in recent memory. And to be honest, that's kind of how I wanted it. It was never going to be that Guarani FC were going to lift the Copa Libertadores. I used this as a stepping stone into Brazil. We had a great first year in that Serie A, and it prompted Santos to come after me, which is where we will ultimately go next. If we go back to the home screen, go to the job history. This is where we got on. As you can see, we picked up a manager of the year when we got promoted, and obviously that Serie B trophy. And then the season after, it says second here. We definitely didn't finish second. I've shown you that. We finished in 7th. So ultimately, I think it's a good time to be progressing. I think I progressed quite nicely whilst I was Guarani manager. I was able to do multiple courses, which was fantastic. Developed as a manager, learned a few things, built my reputation, and as I said, that prompted Santos to come in for me, which is who we will take a look at next. Obviously, I learned a lot out of Guarani. and I'm happy to have had the time in Brazil and happy to have had that virtual opportunity. But that is where I'm going to leave things for today, guys. If you have enjoyed this sort of mini recap review video of this particular part of the save, don't forget to drop a like on the video down below, subscribe to the channel if you are new around here, and ring that bell so you're told each and every time that we upload a video on the channel. Once I finish with these recaps, I'm going to bring in a short little series before we go into FM22, so you're not going to want to miss that. It is a let's play, it's a longer term rebuild, but that's all I'm going to say for now. Hopefully I'll see you on another one very soon, but until then, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll see you on another one very, very soon then.